Disney really effed up the story of Peter Pan. Welcome back to Peter Pan Facts with me, Morca's Noise, Peter Pan hobbyist and obsessionist since I was a small child. I know rather a lot. Let's talk Disney. Tiger Lily was not a helpless damsel in distress. Peter only had to help her a little bit at one point. The rest of the time, she was kicking ass. You know those famous directions? Second star to the right and straight on till morning. There is actually no star. Disney added that in for no apparent reason. The actual quote is, second to the right and straight on till morning. This was made up by Peter Pan, it's not actually the way to the Neverland at all. J.M. Barrie got the idea when he was sent directions on how to get to one of his friends' houses. The pirate ship, the Jolly Roger, never actually flew. Peter, the Lost Boys and the Darlings actually sailed it all the way to the Azores, and then they flew themselves back to London. Captain Hook is not a blundering idiot. He has some comical moments, but actually he is terrifying. They really messed up by turning him into some weird comic relief character, and they did the same thing to Mr. Darling as well. Captain Hook never tried to blow up Peter in the home under the ground. He actually wormed his way down the tree and poisoned Peter's medicine cup. Disney may have stolen that idea from a moment later on in the play where Captain Hook tries to blow up the Jolly Roger. The Darlings were never demanding that their children grow up at all. In fact, they were so poor they probably couldn't have afforded to give Wendy her own bedroom. Tinkerbell never betrayed Peter Pan and the Lost Boys to the pirates. She was angry and upset, but she never went that far. They made it look like it was Wendy's dream at the end. Actually, Mr. and Mrs. Darling spent months waiting for their children to come back, leaving their window open. Mrs. Darling was having hallucinations that her children were lying in their beds, and Mr. Darling, as penance for chaining Nana up in the yard, was spending all of his time in her kennel. It was definitely not a dream, and it definitely didn't all take place in one night. The Lost Boys came home with the Darling children. They were actually all adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Darling, except for Slightly, who was adopted by Liza, their maid. They gave Tinkerbell body confidence issues. They took this sassy, confident, driven, hilarious character and they made her stand on a mirror and look dejected at herself. Disney just no.